This slide shows the general timeline of the kindergarten and first grade balanced literacy action plan. On the left side of the table, you have the various tasks that will be going on throughout the school year, and these dates over on the right, or the months. Those can be pretty fluid and flexible. That doesn't have to be those exact months. If teachers or grade levels wanted to start earlier or later, that can all be decided on. And then a lot of these tasks have to do with an instructional coach coming in to provide professional development on a regular basis and go through different steps of the balanced literacy model together as a professional development, and then teachers can go back for over the next month or two to practice in their own classroom, and then at the next professional development session they can debrief and then learn the next skill or task and so forth. And then there's the implementation of mini lessons and the teaching targeted skills. So that is an example of something that would have already been taught in the professional development by the instructional coach, and then the teachers go ahead and implement that, and they have the time frame over on the right of when they should be beginning that. And all these things that have a longer time frame, like formative assessments as year round, implementation of writing about reading retells has a time frame of October through January. That's because it would be assumed that once they start one of these parts of the balanced literacy model, that that is something that is consistent in their classroom and that they stick with throughout the school year. And of course, it doesn't mean it's being done perfectly right away. It just means that they're bettering their instructional practices each time they do this. And that goes through quite a few of the balanced literacy tasks, and then ending with instructional coaching and informal classroom observations. And wanted to make sure in the action plan that this was known that this is informal observation. So the instructional coach is in the classroom merely just for coaching, and it's nothing evaluative. And they might also talk to administration about what they've seen, but as a general feel for the entire grade level or school, and definitely not naming specific teachers or who's doing what well or not well, since this is just for coaching purposes and not evaluations. And then finally, there's an evaluation of the whole action plan in general. So success of the balanced literacy model will be analyzed using Fountas and Pinnell running record systems. And this will allow teachers to track student growth based on what's happening in the balanced literacy classroom. Levels of literacy will need to be tracked historically to analyze the success of the model over time. Of course, after 1 year, you may not still see the amount of growth that you want, but over time, hopefully, and consistency and teachers bettering their practice, student success will only continue to increase. Summative or benchmark assessments may also be used to track success of the model. I talked about earlier in the presentation, student observations by the teacher will not only track student learning and engagement, but will also create an accountability piece to the action plan. So teachers have actual evidence of what they're doing with individual students or what's being done during the balanced literacy workshop. And then finally, teachers will make observation notes during small groups and while conferring with individual students.